Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing this January the 29th, 2025. Daily cryptocurrency, XRP, blockchain technology, and crypto video you've come to expect, love, need, and deserve after the Federal Reserve, the criminal gangsters, and one of the head henchmen, Jerome Powell, that have infiltrated the United States government, Federal Reserve, and world banking system, has talked about pausing rate hikes and doesn't foresee another or rate cuts, my corrected, and doesn't foresee in the near term another rate cut to combat inflation down to 2%. We ask you to bell notification, comment down below, like the channel, and share to get that truth, education, and information you'd come to expect, need, and deserve from the #1 cryptocurrency insider here on YouTube and social media. And you can see one of the easy ways you can to support the channel is in the video description below each video or in the pinned comments. Join Jabroni Killers, yes, for just $2.99, but I believe it's actually $3.99. I'm not sure. The best and cheapest and most valued way to support the channel on YouTube for just $3.99 a month. And one of the perks that you get or I go to the comment section and I comment to you immediately, and you get top priority, and you get as many coins to look at, charts to look at, news to cover as you want when you comment as member of Jabroni Killer. Even if you're not a member of Jabroni Killer, still comment to support the channel by liking, sharing, and let me know the coins you want. But the top priority, goes to my lovely, beautiful, growing members of Jabroni Killers. A couple of you have went in there this week. You can also super chat to support the channel and hit that subscribe button and share it. Please share. Listen here. I need you to share this channel to help these people continue to subscribe, which subscriber count has come up. And Mr. Me 9517, we did fix that typo, J, and I thank you for pointing that out. Artie Lopez, an OG, and he always reminds me of Art Lang Jr. from the old Howard Stern shows, the great Italian comedian. And so I always remember Artie. Jerome Armour 3179, wish I had 10 G's to buy all the discounted coins. Don't we all, my good man? And thank you for supporting the channel. Oops, I'm not going to like my own. Thank you for showing me the typo. LCX is a $5 coin, yes. XRP Ripper Z, uh, Halim from Switzerland is a new member of Jabroni Killers. I don't see any new coins. Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Again, he's a valuable commenter. XUS001 is another recent member of yes, Jabroni Killers, along with Peter Dubai 4941. I appreciate you. Peace and love to you. ISOW Velo, we'll talk about, my good man. Couldn't comment for a few days. I said something that offended somebody. My good man, it definitely wasn't on this channel. You have freedom to talk about whatever you want. Matt 2649, maybe some ADA and IOTA. Yes, my good man, we will definitely will be in tonight's update. We will talk about some ADA, and we have put IOTA in there. So if you want to become members of Jabroni Killers, please, with peace and love, become members of Jabroni Killers. It helps support the channel. And we'll start off with the XRP. And we did have some breaking news today we'll get into with the Federal Reserve, and we'll go over that. You can see XRP is trying to recover nicely after it had that big dump back here the other day, where it was about a 15% dump from the wick from the top to the wick bottom, and now we've recovered back into the pattern. And what we're going to be paying attention to, what we've been paying attention to for several days to weeks now, are the moving averages and two possible patterns that we're in. Eventually, one will win out. You can see we've had quite a bit of movement up today in the, let's go up to the 50-day moving average. It is now sitting at $2.58. The 100-day moving average is now sitting at $2.09. And the 200-day is now sitting at $1.55 JE. And the two patterns that we're in, the bullish pattern would be another continuation with a flagpole here, this down and sideways consolidation with descending underneath support, descending overhead resistance. It's a channel, which would be your flagpole, and a channel is the same width when it starts, is the same width when it ends, and it's descending channel because it's going down. In a consolidation, then you would take the flagpole to the point of a breakout, and that's how you get up here at that $4.68. So that's your bullish breakout to the upside. Your bearish would be if this head and shoulders, if this is a short-term head and shoulders topping reversal pattern, and we don't need to go to another leg to the upside, you would have what we would see here, a left shoulder right there. Now we're gonna have to delete that. No, of course it would click that. You would have your left shoulder here. See that? Defined left shoulder. That would be your potential head that we've been talking about, your right shoulder, and then this would be your neckline straddling the 50-day and the 100-day moving average. And that's what we're watching to see if that does play out. And your targeted move would be from the top of the head right here to the neckline, which is right there, to the point of a breakout. And that would get you down there to about $1.32 to $1.55 range. And that's something that we're watching. Not to say this is a head and shoulders topping reversal pattern, short term topping reversal, more of a profit taking than anything else. But those are the two shorter time frame patterns in the daily time frame that we're watching. And it's still indecisive at which one's going to break. But I still do believe the 50-day moving average will and must be hit soon because it's been 3 months almost exactly since we've hit JE. Any of the moving averages in the daily time frame, and that can't go on forever. But as long as we're above this $2.56 now, right there, we're still short-term bullish, right? As long as we can stay above that, we're short-term bullish. If we break below that, then we would become short to medium-term bearish. So we're just paying attention and looking at the charts to see what exactly happens. If we look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance continues to rally now. You can see it's threatening to break above. It's threatening to break above this 59.94 dominance and make a run at the 61.56 dominance. And the correlation with this is when Bitcoin dominance, and I'm going to keep emphasizing this, which I have been, when it falls, especially at the beginning, altcoins pump. When it rises like this, altcoins dump. When it falls, altcoins pump. When it rises, altcoins dump. So if we continue to rise up near that 61.79% dominance, altcoins will continue consolidating down. If this has a big fall again at some point and looks something like that, during that initial dump, altcoins will have a phenomenal pump again from wherever they're at the current price. So we're going to continue to watch out for that, right? XLM is the same thing. As long as it's below the 43 cents, we're short-term bearish. And now look at this, very interesting. The other day we were at 41 cents, 0.410631. Now look where we're at, 0.407. So we're falling. The 50-day is starting to retract to the downside, which is bearish sentiment or a bearish signal, maybe a canary in the coal mine. The 200-day is still moving its way up. But now we've been saying as long as we're below the 43 cents, we're short to medium. One day I'm just going to buy that so that'll never show up again. Short to medium term bearish as long as we're below that 40 cents. Unlike XRP, we have hit the 50-day moving average recently, right? A few times back in late December, right before the new year, when we had a nice pump. But now we've come down to it. And if we slip this, we're coming down to the 35 cents or the 100-day. And then I think there's even a strong possibility if we continue to break down, we're coming down to that 200-day moving average, which is a very healthy correction, but it would be a very big buy signal for me, at least in the short term, because I would anticipate on XLM, if we come down like this, we're going to have a fairly significant rally back into this 43-cent area, and that would be a phenomenal quick swing trade return. And that's something that we're watching out for. Any kind of major pump, if you can get the bulls and the momentum and the hype train to come back in, you could try to make a run near that old all-time high. But right now, it's looking more short-term bearish as long as we're below that 43 cents. We already talked about XRP, H bar. Nobody really talks about that. We'll talk in this video. We're going to make one more video for the altcoins. So in this one, we'll finish it out with AMP, and then we'll go into the altcoins on the next video. AMP is still consolidating to the downside, and it's continuing to go to the downside. And if we scroll in here, move the moving averages over, we're starting to run parallel at 00759 for the 50, for 006697 at the 100, and 00623 at the 200 day. And if we isolate in here to the hour time frame, you can see we're trying to break above a critical support and resistance area that we've been at for quite some time now in the AMP price. And we're going to see if we can't break above that after we've had some pumps recently here, here, and then we broke to the downside, as one of my subscribers and Jabroni Killer members said, in the 15-minute time frame, could this be an topping reversal pattern, which that is just a double topping reversal pattern that forms the shape of an M. And if that was to be the case, and it looks like maybe it is because it's threatening to break down, your targeted move would be the top of the double top to the neckline to the point of a breakout, and that would bring you down over here near that 200-day moving average at 00623, and that's something that we're paying attention to in the shorter time frame. And then if we look at some news from the Federal Reserve, are we going to talk about that here? Probably not. So we're going to have to go into here, go into the US dollar, go into the Federal Reserve. US dollar firms against peers after Fed holds rate steady. Dollar strengthens against Swiss franc. Canadian dollar weakens as Bank of Canada cuts rates. Euro loses ground ahead of ECB. European Central Bank decision. The US dollar was firmer against major currencies on Wednesday after the Federal Reserve criminal gangster cartel Jerome Powell left interest rates unchanged as widely expected, but gave scant clues about further reductions in borrowing costs this year. Fed officials made a unanimous decision to keep overnight interest rates in the current 4.25 to 4.5 range, putting the central banks in a holding pattern as they await further inflation and jobs data and clarity on the impacts of President Trump's policies. During the press conference, Fed Chair Powell, it is too soon to say what Trump's policies will do to the central bank's 2% inflation target will remain in place. It seems pretty understandable and comprehensible that they are feeling confident that they may not need any rate cuts, said Juan Perez, director of trading at Monex USA in Washington. And they're not making any promises, but at least in the question that they are being asked, Paul is very cautious that until there is some more evidence, they're going to be in a wait and see mode. That is why you didn't see the FX markets collapse. The dollar strengthened 0.35% against the Swiss franc. Against the Japanese yen, the dollar weakened 0.17%. The euro was down 0.17 at $1.41. The dollar index, which measures the greenback against a basket of currencies, including the yen, euro rose 0.9 to 108.02. The index touched a 1-month low on Monday at 106.96 amid a global sell-off in technology stocks and a rush to safe haven currencies such as the Japanese and Swiss franc. But the index is still up more than 4% since the US election won by Donald Trump in November. The Bank of Canada cut its rates by 25 basis points to 3% on Wednesday and told Canadians that a tariff war triggered by the US could cause major economic damage. The Mexican peso strengthens 0.17% versus the US dollar at 20.59529 pesos to dollars. The Canadian dollar weakened 0.16% versus the greenback to $1.44 per dollar. Bank lending to firm in the euro area picked up last month, indicating the rapid interest rate cuts have started to flow through the real economy. European Central Bank data shows. The one thing that is established is that the comparison to everything else, the US economy continues to be solid to this point where now the Federal Reserve, unlike most central banks, does not need to be stimulus driven, Perez said. Like, subscribe, and share. We're going to have an altcoin update coming up in about an hour. Stick around for that explosive update. Peace and love.